So guys, now after completing the discussions on types of shock, now we shall unveil the secrets of septic shock. So let's get started. So septic shock results from microbial causes. In the previous video we discussed about shock due to systemic inflammation, and it was caused by both microbial or non-microbial causes, but septic shock is caused by the microbial causes. Okay, so let's discuss on it on more. Most frequently it is triggered by gram positive bacteria, followed by gram negative bacteria and fungi. Okay, and it is also known as endotoxin shock. So let's write them. Caused by okay, microbial infections, the next point, also called as endotoxin shock, because the bacteria produce endotoxins. We discussed in while discussing about Clostridium perfringens that they produce endotoxins, and even in the Staphylococcus aureus we discussed that they produce endotoxins. They produce toxins like alpha toxins, which will cause various effects: toxic shock syndrome and food poisoning. So these are the effects of the toxins secreted by the microorganisms. Okay, so examples were Staphylococcus aureus or Clostridium perfringens. So it is also called as endotoxin shock. Okay, then next point is most frequently triggered by gram positive bacteria, followed by gram negative and fungi, gram negative bacteria, okay, and fungi. Okay, all right, so now let's get into the pathogenesis of septic shock. So pathogenesis, I'll make a table and try to explain the table with suitable points so that you can have a concrete note with a table and certain points, so it will be easy for you to write in the exams, as we have lack of time in exam and we don't have time to think and we have to adjust. So that's why I'll draw a flow chart, a type of chart, and then I'll try to explain the chart through some points. Okay, so let's get started. So for now, copy the chart. I'll come to the explanation right after it. PAMPs. This is pathogen associated microbial patterns. Pathogen associated molecular patterns. We'll discuss about this while discussing about the topics, or I'll write somewhere over here. factor 12 complement activation. For now just copy guys, I'll explain with the points, so don't get worried. I'll explain everything with the points, okay, after completing the chart. So now is the neutrophil. Okay, let's give a focus. Neutrophil. Endothelial activation. What is that? The PAMPs are pathogen associated molecular patterns, and these are activating complement activation, factor 12, neutrophil and monocyte activation, and all these events are causing endothelial activation. Okay, so I am dictating all these because so that you don't get bored just seeing the screen and copying it. So I am just discussing a little. I'll discuss in detail with the points, don't worry. So okay, endothelial activation is giving C3A and C5A. If you have studied about inflammation, the chapter inflammation from chapter inflammation, then you may know about complement activation and C3A, C5A. If not, we shall discuss in our upcoming videos about inflammation. Okay, so C3A, factor 12, and complement neutrophil and complement activation will give you tumor necrosis factor, interleukin 1, high mobility group box protein first, and all overall. So this much now. Okay, so these are causing endothelial activation. The complement activated products C3A and C5A are also causing endothelial activation, and now endothelial activation is resulting into procoagulant, anti-fibrinolytic, and release of other factors like interleukin 6, interleukin 8, nitric oxide, reactive oxygen species, platelet activating factor. Okay, and this is leading to systemic effects. Then there is immunosuppression, these factors are causing vasodilation, increased permeability decreased perfusion. These two are different, okay. Vasodilation, they are causing vasodilation, comma increased permeability, comma decreased perfusion, okay. The factors: interleukin 6, interleukin 8, nitric oxide, ROS, PAF, okay. Vasodilation, increased permeability, comma decreased perfusion, and these factors are causing systemic effects. This is another other box, okay. Now procoagulant and antifibrinolytic effect is causing microvasculature thrombosis. Okay. Now this will lead to tissue ischemia, okay, tissue organ failure, okay. These are the consequences of septic shock. So consequences during pathogenesis. Now I'll write the full form of the abbreviations. PAMPS, pathogen associated molecular patterns, okay. PAMPs, pathogen associated molecular patterns, and the other things I had to mention are HMGB1. is high mobility group box protein, okay. High mobility group box protein. So now we have completed the table for pathogenesis. Now let's have a quick discussion on this, and we'll discuss about the points in the next video, okay. So PAMPs, that is pathogen associated molecular patterns. These are various substances. These are the various substances that are derived from microorganisms, okay. PAMPs are the various substances that are derived from the microorganisms, and these PAMPs get detected by toll-like receptors. I will discuss about toll-like receptors while discussing inflammation, but there are certain receptors present on our cells, immune cells, that detect the PAMPs, okay. And this detection will obviously generate a downstream signal activating immune cells, and the immune cells release mediators that initiate inflammation. And not only toll-like receptors, there are G-coupled protein receptors. There are G-protein coupled receptors that also detect bacterial peptides, okay. So in overall, after detection of PAMPs, pathogen associated molecular patterns, by the cells of immune system, which include G-protein coupled receptors, toll-like receptors, a signal is initiated, a downstream signal is initiated generated that initiates inflammation, okay. And when these immune cells, now with the help of receptors, toll-like receptors, G-protein coupled receptor, the PAMPs are detected, and the immune cells now get activated due to these pathogen associated molecular patterns. Now activation of the immune cells, so neutrophil and monocyte activation will cause the release of mediators like inflammatory mediators, or mediators cause the release of mediators like tumor necrosis factor, interleukin 1, interferon gamma, interleukin 12, interleukin 18, and the one we mentioned here, high mobility group box protein 1, and other various reactive oxygen species. Okay, and these all these all these mediators released from the immune cells act on endothelial activation. So it is shown in the chart also, even on the chart, that PAMs, but the activation part is not shown. Activation get activated, and then the release of mediator causes endothelial activation. Okay, now not only endothelial activation, or not only activation of the immune cells, they also cause the activation of the complement cascade. They activate the complement cascade. Okay, and after activating they activate the complement cascade, either they activate directly or indirectly. Okay, indirectly through plasmin, through proteolytic activity of the plasmin. Okay, and after the activation of the complement, C3a and C5a are produced, which are anaphylatoxins. C3a and C5a are anaphylatoxins, and which also act on, or which also causes endothelial activation. These PAMs further act on factor 12, which is responsible for activation of coagulation. Okay, now the video is turning to be quite long, so till endothelial activation we discussed. Now we'll continue in the next video. We'll discuss about what happens when endothelial activation is done, and then we'll also write the points. Okay, so clear up to here. PAMs causing immune cell activation, which is relating mediators causing endothelial activation, also activating complement that produces anaphylatoxins like C3 and C5a, which also result in endothelial activation. Also activates factor 12, which is a major which involves in coagulation. Okay, so one view, complete view for the table, so for the chart or flow chart, anything. You say this is vasodilation or increased permeability and decreased perfusion. Okay, so that don't get confused a bit. I spilled water on it. I guess it's my sweat. So this is immunosuppression. Okay guys, so see you in the next video with the explanation of this flow chart.